When do you have this conversation with someone who is exhibiting racist and or xenophobic behavior? Someone that you're not necessarily like really close to. And is it you just do you just ignore them and write them off as like ignorant? Do you actually try to engage in conversation, or do you just say like I need to maybe like get to know this person a little bit better and like kind of like lays the foundation for like trust before we can even like begin to broach this conversation? And the reason why I bring this up is because my neighbor is trying to sell her house. Just to give you just like a little bit of backstory, she's excuse me, she's a 45, I don't even know how old she is, I would say a middle-aged white woman. And she was lamenting how she has not been able to sell her home because she felt like she was lowballed. And when she was telling me that she was lowballed, she specifically said, someone came in and lowballed me, Chinese. And so I was kind of like, what? So she says, yeah, they were Chinese, which I don't even know how accurate that was. I feel like people just use Chinese people as like a baseline for any Asian person that they just see, period. And so she was like, yeah, like they're just like buying up the neighborhood and it's just like making me uncomfortable. And there was just like really a lot to unpack. I was like, they, anytime someone says they, like I just felt like that's just something that needs to be like called out. I don't do it aggressively, but I just want to make it a point to say like what you're like, they as in otherness, like why are you saying this? So I said, who are they? And she was like, you know, like the Chinese. And I was like, okay, all right. So I continued to let her talk. And she's like, yeah, they're just buying up the neighborhood. And, you know, that just makes me really uncomfortable. And I just stared at her for a second because, yet again, like, I don't know how to respond to something so, like, for lack of a better word, ignorant. And she just was like, you don't feel threatened? I was like, no. Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know why you feel threatened. I said, I mean, I know why she feels threatened, but I said, if anything, it's a smart business decision. Like, we live on the West Coast. Like, property values are going up. Like by the hour they are going up, and I just think it's a smart move. If they have the means to do it, why not? It's a huge investment. So she was just like, it was a pause, and then she kind of was like, well, I'm not racist. And I always think that's funny when that, like, it's like a caveat to what they're saying. It's, you know, that's funny to me. But she was like, well, no, like, you know, your husband is Asian. And I was like, yes. She's like, but he's American, so it doesn't like like, I can't remember the word she said, but she basically was like, it didn't make her uncomfortable. And I was just like, that's like not good. So what you're saying, your words are just not, this is not, like, nothing you're saying is good to me right now. And I mean, I didn't say that to her, but she could just tell it all on my face. And she's like, I'm not racist. And then, like, you know, so whatever, this is literally like in a 5-minute conversation. I go back home, and then she sends me a text and was like, I just want to let you know, like, I hope you're not upset with what I said. And, you know, I'm not racist. I hope you don't think I'm racist. And I text her back. I was like, no, it's fine. I'm not upset, but I do think that you're xenophobic. And she was like, what's xenophobic? And I sent her an official Webster's dictionary of what xenophobia was. And she was like, yeah, that's about right. So she knows that she has this irrational fear of others, people from other countries. So she knows it. But we were supposed to have, like, she wanted to have a conversation about it, and then it just never happened. And it's just because I just got sick the next day. But it's just one of those things where, you know, I feel like in this particular climate, I think there are people who want to have the conversation. They may not all. I feel like some people are starting to be maybe introspective and kind of grapple with why they feel a way. Because I was like, you know, there's really no reason, and I can say this to everybody, there's no reason to feel, like, no rational reason to feel why you feel like. And I didn't want to, like, really make her uncomfortable by just saying, you know, you feel like people are buying up property that you feel is, like, rightfully yours. like this neighborhood should only belong to certain people. But like really, like the joke is that your ancestors came here and took land and, excuse me, stole land, almost annihilated an entire race of people, and then claimed it as your land. This land was never your land to begin with. But I think that's sometimes, I think for whatever reason, that's a hard thing for like certain people to understand. But it's facts, like real life facts, not fake news. But here we are. So yeah, like I just wonder, like sometimes, and like it's unfortunately like the time frame has went to like the wayside, because I really wanted to talk to her about this the next day, but like I had a headache the next day, and then my daughter was like turning up, and it was just like kind of like just a bad day for our family. So I just think I just needed to rest. But and I did ask her if she wanted to like meet up a couple of days later, and then I never heard anything back from her. So I think that window unfortunately has like come to an end where we can have this conversation and not have it be like awkwardly come out of nowhere. So I don't know, like maybe another opportunity will come up again where we can talk about this. But yeah, I think because I have I know I have a monotone voice, but like in person, like my face is extremely expressive. So when she was saying these like xenophobic things, I could feel my eyebrows furrowing as she was saying it. So she knew that like she was saying something like that I did not agree with. But yeah, I hope the opportunity comes up again, because I do feel like we need to be having more of these like conversations. Because I mean, how are we going to get better as a society if we don't challenge what we believe and challenge what we feel? So yeah, I hope that happens again. All right, I am done ranting for now.